Before you try to change your world, pause. Let the noise of the day fall away from you like dust settling to the ground, because what you are about to hear is not something to learn, but something to remember. You are not a powerless observer of life. You are the one who is dreaming it into form. Everything you see around you was once an invisible movement within you, a thought you entertained, a feeling you accepted, a quiet assumption you agreed to, and now it stands before you as your world. So tonight, do not strain, do not force, do not search outside yourself. Instead, turn inward.
What this teaching is saying is simple, but powerful. Your outer life is shaped by your inner state, not by effort alone, but by what you consistently accept as true. Right now, you don't need to fix anything outside of you. You only need to become aware of what you are assuming inside.
There is only one place where creation begins, and it is not the world, it is you, not the physical body you see in the mirror, but the awareness behind it. That quiet presence that says, I am, that is the origin of everything. And in that space, nothing is fixed, nothing is finished, nothing is beyond change. You are always choosing, not with effort, but with acceptance. Every belief you hold, every expectation you entertain, becomes a silent instruction to life, and life obeys, not because it judges you, but because it reflects you.
This section is about identity. You don't attract experiences randomly. You express a state of being, and life mirrors it back. So the question becomes, what am I being right now? Not what you want, but what you are embodying internally.
You do not wait for life to prove something to you. You assume it, and life follows. The assumption is not a wish. It is not hope. It is a decision made in silence. A decision that feels like truth, even before evidence appears. When you assume something fully, you stop negotiating with doubt. You stop asking, when will it happen? Because in your awareness, it has already begun, and the world, slow as it may seem, adjusts itself to match the certainty you have accepted. So if you assume lack, you experience delay. If you assume separation, you experience distance. But if you assume fulfillment, you begin to feel it before it appears. And that feeling is the beginning of form.
Assumption means emotional acceptance. Not pretending, not forcing positivity, but gently choosing a state and returning to it again and again until it becomes natural. Your emotional state is the blueprint life responds to.
Do not dismiss your imagination as fantasy. It is the workshop of reality, what you imagine vividly, with feeling, with presence. Is not real, it is not yet visible. There is a difference. The unseen always comes before the seen. Just as a seed contains a forest, your inner vision contains your future. When you imagine yourself already being, having, or living something, you are not escaping reality. You are entering its origin point. Stay there long enough, and the outer world must reorganize itself around that inner scene.
Visualization works, not because you picture something, but because you immerse yourself in the feeling of it being real. The mind accepts repeated inner experiences as identity. Identity becomes experience.
Do not be fooled by what appears before you. The present moment is not a prison, it is a reflection, and reflections are always behind the source. If you stare only at the reflection, you forget the source. But if you return to the source within you, the reflection must change. So when the outer world contradicts your desire, do not resist it, do not argue with it. Instead, gently withdraw your attention. Return inward, return to the assumption that feels true in your heart. Because what you persist in being inwardly must eventually become visible outwardly.
This is about emotional discipline. Stop feeding what you don't want with attention and reaction. Energy follows attention. Where your awareness goes, your experience grows.
The secret is not in wanting, It is in being. To live from the end means to move through your day, as though what you desire is already settled, not as performance, but as quiet knowing. You do not chase, you embody. You do not wait, you inhabit. Even in silence, you remain faithful to the inner assumption. And slowly, invisibly, life rearranges itself around your new state.
Living from the end means think as the person who already has it. Feel as that person would feel. Act naturally from that identity. This is identity shifting in practice.
Now, let go, not because you have given up, but because you have already chosen. There is nothing more to force, nothing more to chase. You have planted the inner seed. Now allow it to grow in silence. Return to your breath, return to stillness. And know this, what you have accepted within is already on its way without. The unseen is already forming. And in its own perfect timing, it will become your world.
You do not need to rush manifestation. You only need to remain consistent with your inner state. What you repeatedly assume becomes your experience. Rest now and trust the process within you.